All
I
right.
will
I think.
stop my video now so that I can secretly smoke while we're talking, if you don't mind.
Well, I mean, it's left with you, but yeah, I mean, it's left with you, whatever you want to do. All right. So I think it's the right time for us to start. So welcome to another EMA session community. Today we're going to be having an EMA with the Pythoninu. And with me as well, I have my co-host, Greek. Greek, you want to say hi to the team?
Hello, Caleb. Hi, Get. It's very nice to have you here. Thank you
Hey,
very much
Greek,
for
thanks a
coming
lot for
around.
having us, man.
Yeah, nice to have you around.
Yeah, man, it's
looking-
absolutely wonderful to be here. I gotta say, it's actually one of your community members that made today possible. So I'd just like to thank him as well. I don't see him in the, I see him, yellow lip, there he is. It's actually his fault that we are here today, so thank you very much.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Yellow Lip.
Awesome. So yeah, so you're gonna start by introducing yourself, Gerald, and tell us about how you got involved into the crypto space and what's the project all about. Please, the mic is yours.
Sure, absolutely, man. So, firstly, I mean, I've been in crypto for quite some time. You know, this is probably one of the things that I hate myself for most. Back in the day when you could still mine Bitcoin from a normal computer, I actually downloaded the software to do that, and I never got to setting it up. So I hate myself for doing that. I probably could have had a couple thousand Bitcoin sitting somewhere waiting for me. But nonetheless, so, you know, since the day that I first learned about crypto, I had an interest in it. And as I'm sure we all have found through our journey in crypto, you know, I went from altcoin trading and this and that and the other thing until last year when I found myself in this beautiful space that we call BSC. And ultimately, you know, I entered this space from a YouTube video, funny enough. And the first thing I did is I invested in some, excuse my French, shitcoin. And you know what happened? I got rugged and it was horrible. And that's just how we all sort of find our way here. And, you know, then we start to learn. And then last year, I launched my own cryptocurrency, but for a purpose, which is essentially a fully fledged bank that is founded in crypto and operates in the real world. So that is a little bit of my background in the crypto space. When my background comes to Python, I became involved in Python when a good friend of mine in the real world approached me and said, listen, I've been observing crypto for a while. I've been trading crypto for a long time. How do I get into the space and do something? I said, well, go away and come back with a proper idea. And this friend of mine came back with the idea of Python being a venture capitalist with the support from my side and from a lot of my friends and stuff in crypto. So essentially, it was born again as a utility, something to bring to the crypto world and to enhance this beautiful space that we all reside in on a daily basis. Ultimately, from that point, you know, I have to be honest and say that I've spent more time recently on Python than I should have, but it does give me that rush of, you know, finding or building something new in crypto, bringing something to the real world, bringing something that can ultimately reward its holders and, you know, really just continue on what BNB was founded on, which stands for build and build. And that's what I try and do every day of my life, is build a little bit of something in crypto. So I hope that's enough of a background for you.
I mean that's really, really awesome. And to be honest with you, I believe a lot of us here have, you know, different reasons why we get involved into the crypto space, and you know how we've been getting ourselves involved in the space as well. And we are so happy to hear about your story, about how it all started. And yeah, we believe that with you having such an idea, it's possible that you're not just going to be thinking about yourself, but you're going to be thinking about the people in here who have been in the space, and probably the new base investors as well. So for us to proceed, right? Yeah, go ahead. I think you want to say something.
Sorry, say again.
Do you wanted to say something? Because I heard you want to try to speak.
Oh, yes. No, I just wanted to add to that. I think the biggest obligation that all of us have in crypto that has got any, I won't say position of power. Let's say if we've got any form of influence, whether we are launching a project, running a call channel, running an AMA lounge, whatever the case might be, we have an obligation to give people the best possible advice, calls, contracts, whatever it is that you're doing in crypto. But ultimately, if we all pull together and we create a better space, there will be no more space for these rugs and scams and all these things, because, every person in this room has guaranteed been rug pulled, has guaranteed been scammed in one way or another. And that is one thing that every day of my life I try and change, that if we can just add a little bit of value into this space. And I absolutely love this space because, I've made some of my best friends in the world I have made here. Some of the best people that you could ever possibly meet I have met in this space. But that's one of the big driving forces behind Python, is to continually bring value and bring security and bring safety and bring education to the community so that, it can be a little bit brighter in the sun for all of us.
That's really awesome. So let's get involved into Python and know how the idea came about. So all I'm gonna say is tell us about Python and how you came about with the idea. I think we're gonna start from there.
Yeah, definitely, man. So basically, like I explained, I've been in crypto for a while, and a good friend of mine who is in the chat now, Queen Python, she's the CEO of PythonBITE. The reason I'm doing the talking is she's a little bit under the weather for the last couple of days. So, she's not really up to talking, but I will force her to talk a little bit tonight during pre-sale. But nonetheless, she came to me and she said, look, I hold a business degree. I'm interested in crypto. I want to get into it, but how do I do that? And how do I contribute to crypto instead of just launching a meme coin or a shit coin? So I said, go and think about it. And she came back with the idea, excuse me. Sorry, guys, I apologize for that. She came back with the idea to say, let's start a crypto venture capitalist firm to essentially take in projects that are underrated, that don't necessarily have the right connections, the funding, all of that, and let's help them achieve success. So the whole point of Python is to look for worthy projects that would otherwise be neglected, that cannot get big calls, that cannot afford big marketing, all that stuff. To take them in under the Python wing, so to speak, and to give them the opportunity to really grow and build. Now, how do we do this? We have to do this through, firstly, strategic partnerships. So, partnering with guys like yourself, Only Gems, all the AMAs that we're doing today, all the big call channels that are willing to listen. We will partner up with those guys. And when somebody approaches us, we will do the due diligence. So very soon, Caleb, you will receive from Python a research paper on a particular project, telling you everything about the project. The guys have KYC'd, the contract has been looked at by a proper developer, etc., etc., etc. And this is a project that you can speak to, meaning you as gold diggers will be getting information for better projects for your community. Now, at the same time, Python will be investing in projects that it partners with. Now, what happens with the profits from those projects? The profits from those projects are deposited, or the biggest portion of them are deposited into our staking pools for the benefit of our holders. But even if you are not a holder of Python, you can still get the benefit. And that is really where I almost want to call it our social responsibility comes in. Is yes, we're not going to call or invite any project for an AMA. And no, we're not going to charge them money for it. We are going to look for the guys that really want to build with us, that have got the same ideals as us. And we will assist them as far as possible through our partnerships, through, other call channels that will maybe give them a call at a discounted price, but we're not going to be doing it for profit. And that is one of the very important things in Python. Because we're not charging people, we will ultimately be ensuring that we are not just doing it for the B&Bs coming in, we are doing it for the community at large. And we are giving our community, your community, any community that partners with us, the best possible investment opportunities. And yes, we will be very focused on utility-based tokens, because that is the future of crypto. The days of meme coins and shitcoin, yes, there will always be a space for them, but it's not necessarily the future of crypto. To show the real world that crypto has got a real place in the world is we have to bring utility. And yes, that is basically what Python is all about. Then, of course, the last thing I want to add is the educational part. Personally, I know many extremely savvy developers, marketers, etc. in the space. And we will also be inviting them for AMAs to come and educate the community on various subjects. What is the best way to market a token? What do you look out for in a contract? Also at the same time, we hope by doing that to invite new people into crypto. And hopefully they can find a safe haven with Python and our partners to start investing in crypto and get into this beautiful space. And at the same time, none of us are here for charity, make phenomenal money together. So that in Python, or that in a nutshell, is Python.
Awesome. With what I've heard, I love the fact that it shows that Python is actually here to look out for people. Like you mentioned, Eddie, a lot of us have been involved in scams, and a lot of us have been involved in some shady projects. And if you guys are here to make it lesser, for people to get involved in not just a legit project, but for you to educate them and know what they have to look out for, the kind of things they have to look out for before going involved in stuff like that. But my next question to you is going to be, the truth is we've seen a lot of projects coming around to do the same thing, and to be honest with you, most of them have not been able to succeed, right? Probably because of some certain reason. So I would like to know what are the plans you guys are putting ahead to make sure that this becomes a success, because trying to make this, available for people, I believe it's not going to be easy because we all know the kind of space we are in, right? So what are the plans you guys are putting involved to make sure that you guys, have a successful way of doing what you're building here?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, man. I think, firstly, you are perfectly right. Other projects have tried to do this before. Some have been successful, funny enough. Others have been unsuccessful. But nonetheless, I think the biggest obstacle in our beautiful space here is always greed. People are greedy. Python is not a greedy project. Essentially, if you look at our taxes, they are low. The majority of them in the beginning will go to marketing. And as soon as, we get a sideways chart, we all know how these charts work. You get a launch, you get a big green candle, then you get the dip, then people buy the dip, and it's this and it's that, and it's marketing and all the beautiful stuff that we know. But as soon as we get through all of that, we will change the majority of our taxes to go to the venture fund, which is essentially aimed at, regardless of what's going on our chart, to support our staking pools, support the project, etc. It's not a project. Yes, everybody is here to make money, but it's not here to make money from the token. The token is simply meant to reward the holders and to give the platform to build on. And in future, really be able to do proper investments. I mean, one of the things that I would love to see Python do is in future, if there's a beautiful project with a phenomenal utility that Python can buy its whole private and pre-sale, and it can go straight to launch, and it will have the capital available to do the best marketing on this planet. All the big call channels have the partnerships with the centralized exchanges, everything that you need, all the Reddits, the PooCoin ads, everything you can imagine. But ultimately, what will make Python succeed is that it's not a greedy project. It's not here to quickly make some money and then it's nothing. It's got to make its money from investment and venture capitalism and from partnerships being introduced. And that is the absolute most essential part of Python, is the partnerships. There's a saying, no man is an island, and the same applies to crypto projects. We cannot find Python here or found Python here and say, right, guys, we have now got a crypto token, we've got a project, let's go. We're going to be the next travel ad. Absolutely not. But if we work together with you guys, with Only Gems, with this call channel, with that call channel, and we all pull together and we share information and we share investor confidence, we can, in partnership, be the driving force that brings security and high yielding returns to our investors. Let's face it, guys. Any one of us can go to a call channel right now with the right amount of BNB, and you can get your call, and you will likely do very well. But if you're not paying for that call, and they're doing the due diligence on you and your team, and then only if you are found to be worthy, you are getting called and promoted, and that information is getting shared free of charge to the partnerships established. That is what will make it sustainable. Because yes, we are here to make money, but we will make money through venture capitalist investment, not through charging people for AMAs, calls, whatever the case might be. That is not our business.
I mean, that's really, really amazing. And I also love the fact that you guys are going to be having partnerships with, the well-known channels. I mean, that alone can bring, trust to the project because, imagine you having partnership with the well-known channels and calls, and these investors themselves are pretty safe with them. That alone can go pretty far. But before we're going to talk about the partnerships, right, I just want to talk a little bit about Python. I'm kind of curious. Why is the project name called Python?
That's a phenomenal question. So, like I said, I'm really playing an advisory and founding role in the project. So, the CEO of the project, shortly before the project got launched, got a Python as a pet. And when I said to her, fine, so now we've got the concept, what are you going to call this? She said, well, I just got a Python, so I'm going to call it Python. So, yeah, and Pythons bite, and apparently they bite pretty sore. So Python bite, the is just for the little bit of hype left in that one. So that's why it's called Python.
Oh, pretty amazing. Most people pretty say that names have kind of a great effect on projects. So I just want to know why it was called Python. But I mean, it's pretty nice, So going ahead to the partnerships, you mentioned that you're gonna be targeting the big calls. So how are these call channel how are you gonna benefit from them? and how they're going to help the project in the long run, right? Because you did mention something that is very, very true. We're all here to make money, right? If the core channels are not benefiting anything for Python, I don't think they may want to go and get themselves involved in the partnerships. So how are these people going to get in? How are they going to benefit from Python, and what's the essence of the partnership?
Look, essentially, when it comes to the partnerships, I think first and foremost, what we have to look at there is, should Python identify a project that we want to invest in? We will first do our due diligence, and we will have a proper, call it a research paper on that project. They will be required to KYC, all that stuff. So, Caleb, as an example, let's say we found a worthy project today that we've done our research on, and we're going to be investing in them and assisting them in any way that we can. We send that on to you. What you do with that information is completely in your hands. It's a matter of, it's the community aspect of Python. We are not asking the partners to do anything apart from listen or look at good information. And consider that before you just consider calling a degen project. Ultimately, what we would also like to do, but this will come in good time, is we would very much like to be able, from some of the call channels, even yourselves with AMAs and stuff like that, is get a bit of a discount for the guys. So if we've done the research and we give you the research and you look at it yourself and you decide, yes, we want to invite these guys, maybe give them a small discount on the AMA or whatever the case might be. But it's all about sharing is caring. It's all about contributing to your investors. Now, coming back to the making money part, naturally, if we've got a bunch of partnerships and a project gets wider exposure and support, everybody makes money. But now we go back to the education part. Let's say you and I had bought a private sale in a particular token, okay? It is unworthy to just dump that whole bag. We all know how we should be taking profits. And that is one of the big aspects here is, yes, we want to share information. We want to share legitimate projects, but we also want to educate our community and our partners, communities, how not to handle your investments. You know what? Rather, if you've got a 1% bag in a project and it's doing very well, cash out 0.25 BNB at a time. Take your initials, take some profit, take a little bit more profit, and leave a moon bag. But don't dump on the project, because we all know what that does to a chart. So it's all about this whole community sharing, creating diamond hands, investing and taking profits responsibly like any good investor in the world would do. That is really where all these things come together, is we don't just want to give good projects a chance to do a nice launch. We want to give them a chance to survive. And we want to have this partnership of, or this network of partnerships where we can count on these guys to say, right, guys, Python has done the research. Their research is thorough. Our investors can invest in these projects with confidence, knowing that they don't have to cheat. They can hold. They can take their profits. They can take their initials and leave a healthy moon bag. And ultimately, by doing that, we will take a lot of tokens and a lot of coins upwards. So I hope that makes sense from a investment perspective. Where we want to take this is not just provide calls and stuff. We want to provide education and long-term income for our community and our wider partner network.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Ray. Getting education involved especially this can be very, very helpful to the new base investors, who may not have ideas about the crypto space and the things they have to look out for and stuff like that. So, I mean, I love the fact you involve education as well. Yeah, go ahead. You want to say something?
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I mean, the fact of the matter is, we want to, and this will take a lot of time and trust, but we want to move into a space where, let's face it, we all have PTSD in crypto. We have all been robbed. We've all been scammed. We are so afraid that the minute that you invest in something and you're in a little bit of profit, you want to take that profit because it's better than nothing. But we want to slowly but surely build up confidence that people know when Python has done research on a project, when Python is involved, it is something I can invest in and I can go to bed tonight and I can sleep on it. And that is really where we want to get to.
I think that's few of the questions I have for now. So I would like to leave the mic for Greg, my co-host, to go ahead with this question. Greg, go ahead.
All right, thank you very much, Caleb. So hi, Get, once again.
Yo, Greg.
I just have, yeah, nice to have you here. So I just have a couple of questions, to ask before we move forward. And one of them would be, about the website. I realized that there was no white paper, and some of the buttons on the website were not actually, they were dead buttons, and they were not leading to any page or redirecting to any link. So what do you have to say as regards that? Seeing that for new time investors, and people looking to get more information on projects and on teams and all of these things, the first place they head to, even before coming into the Telegram, is always the website. Or the first place they go to immediately they come into the Telegram has to be the website. So why is the website still down? Seeing the stage where the project is as regards development.
Yeah, look, man. Firstly, the website is up, but essentially the website does need a bit of an update. It is functional at the moment. I have noticed with the hosting company that sometimes it struggles a little bit, but nonetheless, the website will get a proper update after launch. A big portion of this project I've had to finance personally, and I've had to make the decisions in terms of where the money is best spent, getting proper developers on board, all that sort of stuff. But ultimately, the website will receive an overhaul very soon.
Yeah, that's awesome. Also, moving from there, yeah. You mentioned, at the beginning of your presentation that you intend to, be a venture capital, and I was trying to, listen through and see if you were going to probably speak about, the sources of the funds for investment, if you have, liquidity providers and all of these things. And if you could touch on, say the vetting process for what the team would be investing in, as a venture capital. Okay, yeah. And I think we'll just
sure, absolutely. So to answer your first question, the funding source initially for that will be taxes raised in the token. So the token launches. There is already a venture fund tax in there. Total taxes in and out is 7%. So 2% goes to liquidity, for launch, 4% to marketing, because we all know you got to spend a lot on marketing. And 1% goes to venture fund. When we start trading sideways, that will change and a lot more will go to venture fund. So funds for investment will be raised from the token. Hence why returns from investments will be returned to the investor. To answer the second part of your question, which is, I think, really the important part, is what is the vetting process when looking at a project? First and foremost is utility. And we are talking about proper utility. You know, in my opinion, utility is not an NFT or a staking pool or something like that. Utility is when you take cryptocurrency and you do something with that in the real world. So should a project approach us that have got a phenomenal idea to make cryptocurrency work in the real world, we will consider that. Secondly, they will absolutely have to KYC to the highest standards. I remember the first time that I had to KYC. That was with IDO Pre-Sales, which is a partner of DXA. And that process literally took me a day. I had to send them photos, I had to send them videos, I had to send them locations, photos of your passport, everything. Disclaimers, the whole 9 yards. So the KYC process with us will be equal to that. Thirdly, the guys can't just come with an idea. They have to come with an execution plan. So they have to be able to convince myself, Queen Python, and the other members of the Python team, and sometimes perhaps even the Python community, that their project is worthy, that they are truly bringing something that's not going to last a week. They have to bring something that is going to be around for a very long time. We all know that the world is throwing us curveballs and unexpected things happen, but I have to have confidence in a team and a project to know that they will do what is necessary to make their project succeed. We all know what it takes to succeed in crypto. I mean, I have been down that road myself many times. But ultimately, the only time that somebody is worthy is when they are really committed to their project. So ultimately, they will have to They will have to undergo a stringent due diligence process so that we can really believe in the project. And I want to be able, when we partner with a project, to call them, to share their information, to be able to say to anybody, these guys truly want to succeed. Whether they're going to succeed, I don't know. I can't guarantee it. But I can guarantee that they are committed enough to succeed. So I hope that answers your question, Greek.
Yes, it does. And also to follow that up, you mentioned you mentioned earlier in your presentation that almost everybody on this call has been robbed a couple of times. And then I can tell you that some of us more times than others, we've been robbed. I know someone on the team who is probably getting robbed every week. So it happens regularly. So to further that, what experience, see, you mentioned that you were more of an advisory, taking up an advisory role for the team. So what experience does the team have when it comes to investing? Because most of us, we call ourselves investors, but not everybody's profitable. Data has to show that probably just 10% of the investors are making money, while 90% of the other guys are probably either losing money or running around in circles. So what experience does the team have when it comes to investment? Is it going to be given out? And all of this, seen, taking into consideration the vetting process for the project. Then what is the experience, on the side of the team?
Yeah.
And then also,
absolutely, that's a fantastic question that you ask. From an experience perspective, like I've stated in the beginning, I will always play an advisory role until such time that Python is big enough that I can suggest other things to it, which is just a little hint of what's to come in future. But nonetheless, CEO of the project, very experienced crypto trader. The other team members, very experienced in crypto. I know them personally from trading together, investing together. These guys, this is what I will tell you. They know what they're doing from a trading perspective, but they do it responsibly. It's one thing to go and dump one Bitcoin. Nobody cares. It's another thing in a project with 150, 200, 300,000 rand, $300 market cap to go and dump a bag there. You don't do that. And these guys are not for it. They are absolutely, in fact, I would almost say they may be sometimes too diamond-handed, but I will keep them on the straight and narrow with that from a profit-taking perspective. I was talking to somebody from one of the AMAs today. Sorry, guys, I can't remember exactly who it was. And we were talking about a project that launched earlier this year where I personally made a good amount of money. And we were talking about the trading strategy. And the trading strategy is always you sell on the greens and you sell small. And I was saying in this particular project, it was running at around a $200,000 market cap, and I was selling about 0.2, 0.25 BNB at a time. And on the reds, you buy, and then it goes up. We know how these charts go. And I think that is really what I can give to you as an answer for the trading strategy for Python is responsible trading. Python, in the near future, when it becomes a force to be reckoned with, will be invited to private sales and pre-sales and this and that and the other thing, and it's fantastic. But when the time comes to take profit, it will be done in an absolute responsible manner. Because if it was done in any other way, I would not be involved. So the guys will take profit. If they invested 2 BNB, they will be looking to take out a 50% return, so taking out 3 BNB. But over a period of time, not dumping on anybody, doing it responsibly, and more than likely buying a moon bag at the bottom to assist the team, because it's all about partnership. It's all about getting these guys connected with the right people, taking profit, and ultimately giving all the investors involved a fair opportunity to make good money. So I hope that answers your question.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Just to follow up on that, how would the profits? Because I sincerely have no doubt as to how profitable the team would be when it comes to scouting this project and investing, taking profit, and all of these things. I have no doubt as to the ability of the team. But how would the profit be introduced back, to the investors? Would it be in form of buybacks? Would it be in form of airdrops? How would it, or would it just be redistributed in forms of, BUSD, or the profit is split back into more investments?
Okay, so basically, that question is a very simple one to answer. So shortly after launch, we will be introducing our staking pools. So if you are a Python investor, what will happen is when Python invests in a project and brings the profits back, a buyback on the chart will occur, and those profits will simply be deposited into the staking pool, and the APY of the staking pool will be increased. So it's a very simple method. Our contract is very transparent. The community will be able to see which projects are being invested into, and those will be the ones shared with the community, of course, so you can go and make independent profits as well. But ultimately, it's all about transparency. So the community will be able to see what happened with investments when they were redistributed. Yes, of course, there has to be operational costs. You have to pay people, fair wages and stuff like that. But I can promise you at least 60% of profits made through ventures will be deposited back into our staking pools, making it a long-term safe investment. Think about it this way. If you invest 1 BNB in Python at a 400 to 500 APY per year, almost regardless of what happens on the chart, you're going to be making money. And because there'll be constant buybacks that get deposited into the staking pool, along with the liquidity tax, the liquidity over time on sideways trading will be pretty fat, and the impact of people selling will be way less. So ultimately, it creates a safe haven for you as an investor to, one, make independent profits, secondly, start earning true passive income. Now we're talking on small scale now. Let's say eventually you've got 4 or 5 BNB in the staking pool and you're making 400 or 500% per year on that. Those become very, very good investments. Greek, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. All right. I thought I thought my network actually cut off. Okay, so I have just a couple of questions, before we move to community question. Seeing, like I mentioned earlier, that I had no doubt about, how profitable the team would get, when it comes to investing. But I had a concern pop up in my head in a situation because you mentioned that, the community will be informed about, the investments, and all of these things before they happen. And, when people, because the entire space, as we know, is actually a very crazy space where, everybody is looking to dump on, every seller is looking to dump on the next buyer. And, people do not have respect for the chart or the project. And, they're ready to tank, the project or the chart for just, small profit. So when people begin to, the concern has to be that there can be people in your community who are waiting for, for you guys to say, oh, we want to throw, say, 10,000 into this project. And, the community, it's approved and you're about to invest. People get hold of this information buy before you get in. And then, when the community comes in, you're dumped on. How do you intend to avoid situations like this where
Well, you are perfectly
members
right in the concern that you bring up there. I think it's a very legitimate concern, but I think that really comes back to the vetting process to begin with, putting projects and teams in touch with the right influencers, callers, marketing strategies, but also at the same time, and I think this is most important, is educating the community. And this is something that will take a lot of time. Where they can see, yes, I can buy pre-sale today or perhaps on launch or whatever. And over time, there will be enough confidence to know that if this call gets made, if Python underwrote a specific call, we can truly believe in it, and I can go to bed on. I don't have to cheat on 20% profit, But that will take time, and we are more than willing to take that journey with our community and build that trust and build that level of respect for the work that we'll be doing. But ultimately, it comes down to not just educating the community, but choosing the right projects. So we will not want to call a project every single day. We would rather do one a month, and it's a proper one. But people will know when we do it, it's the right one. because we're not just going to call projects for calling projects.
I think I understand. I think I understand that. Okay, so to sorry, I think I lost my train of thought for a little bit. So following like I had said repeatedly, I think you would be very successful seeing the experience on the team as regards investment. Are you looking at probably a time in the future where this goes beyond just people, just the 1% or whatever percentage you're taking from taxes, and then you get people to say you have an LP where people just say donate funds and they leave it to the team, to help invest and manage the funds more, similar to what we have with actual centralized venture capitals and all of this.
Oh, yeah, no, look, absolutely. Personally, I would not love anything more than to take Python to a 0% tax token as quickly as possible. But, ultimately, it comes from community participation, trust, support. But without a doubt, the minute that we can lower taxes, I promise you we will be lowering taxes, without a doubt.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. That's amazing. I think Caleb, you can take it from here.
All right, thank you so much, Greg, for the questions. I really appreciate that, and thank you as well, Jed, for answering all of these questions. But now,
it's only my pleasure.
so now we want to move down to the community. But before we do, I just have just one question to ask you. Then we can move right down to the community. So there's always this saying that says that no matter how much idea you might have on your project, right? No matter how much plans are behind the project, and no matter how much partnership you get yourself involved in the project, if you don't have marketing plans, it's more like you trying to build a bridge without the cement and stuff like that. So I would just like to ask you, what are the marketing plans you have implemented on the project to take it in the long run?
Well, I love that question, and you already know the answer to that question. This is what I will say about marketing. So we have on purpose not done big marketing up to now. I will promise you this. Post pre-sale, the marketing is something that you haven't seen in this space in a while. Every possible thing you can imagine, every call channel you can think of, every avenue of advertisement and marketing will be taken. Personally, I would not mind if the community can put enough trust in us to push us to the point where we can get on centralized exchange. But I will tell you this, post pre-sale, everything you can expect from a mooning token will be there. Every single thing. Those deals have been negotiated. They've been agreed upon. What it's going to cost has been agreed. It's time to go, boys.
Awesome. That's pretty amazing. I mean, I love the fact you guys have the marketing plans. About the project installed because, these people, these investors who are going to be investing their funds on a project, they want to be sure that you're going to market this in the long run, and you should be able to give them some couple of returns as well. Especially those who are going to be getting involved in an early stage of the project. They want to hold into the project for a long period of time. So they believe that the team are going to be working so hard to keep getting this word out there, to keep getting the project out there. So I just want to get info about the marketing you guys have. And
no, definitely. And you know what? I definitely want to see all these beautiful people in this VC or this AMA. I want to see them in pre-sale, because the thing that will make me happiest of all is seeing a 10x scandal on launch and making a whole lot of people a whole lot of money.
Awesome. So I think it's time for us now to get questions from the community. So guys, I think it's time for us to get questions. You may want to raise your hand now. You want to go straight directly to the project, and the team are generous to give out a whitelist spot and a BNB giveaway as well. So let's see who we have here. Let's get a question from, let's see, the Kryptonian. The Kryptonian, you're muted.
Hey, Caleb. Good evening.
Hey, how you doing, mate?
I'm fine. I've been listening to the AMA, and I can say there's literally almost nothing to talk about because you guys have literally said it all. But I just have some few questions that came to mind. So basically, you guys are like a call project in which projects come to your space, and if they want to, how I call it, advertise more, create more awareness, you are like the go-to people for that. But I just want to know about creating hosting all the AMAs, because when I was going through your website, you said from launch at least you'll be hosting an AMA every week. So I just want to know, is it gonna be limited to only Telegram, or do you plan to also host AMA on your Twitter space?
No, absolutely. Look, we will definitely do it on Twitter. We will post AMAs on YouTube as well. So we will advertise it as widely as possible to enable as many investors as possible to gain access to that information.
Okay. Caleb, I just have one more question. Can I get on with it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, in the sense of, okay, let's say I have my own project, and I come to you guys. I just want to know, but I'm not so fluent in probably English. So do you guys probably have your own like translator in which you can render such service, probably to host AMAs and other stuff like that?
Look, at the moment, that's actually a phenomenal question that you're asking. At the moment, we don't have translators. It has been something that's crossed my mind that I would definitely like to explore in future, to have AMA hosts that can translate in other languages. But those will be on a sort of when needed basis. You know, we all kind of work on English in this space, but there is a lot of projects and a lot of developers and teams whose native language is not English, but I would definitely want to consider hosting AMAs with a translator in future where we can really represent those guys properly and get their message and their vision across. Because in this beautiful space of ours, language should not be our barrier.
Okay, thank you very much, and thanks for the
Great stuff,
opportunity,
man.
Caleb.
And thanks for the phenomenal questions.
Thanks for that, Greg. So we're gonna move on to our next question. Let's get a question from Ayush. Ayush, you're muted.
Hello.
Hey, man.
Yeah, go ahead with.
Hi, guys. How are you guys?
Good, buddy. Ask a question.
Yeah. I saw in the tokenomics there was a private sale. So could you tell us like what is how much tokens allocated for it, and how much you raised in the private sale, and is there any kind of vesting?
Yes, sure. The private sale was really, really small just to absolutely get the basics going. So that is less than 4% of the total supply is going to private sale. I think it's actually 3.66% or something like that. So the private sale is really tiny. Pre-sale will be approximately, sorry, I knew somebody was going to ask me the question. I should have had the figures in front of me. If you give me a second, I will find them. There we go. So 44% goes to pre-sale, 3.2% goes to private sale, 22.5% goes to liquidity, and then 30% of supply goes to 20% goes to the initial staking pools, and 10% goes for daily burns in the first week.
Yeah, got it. Is there any kind of vesting for the private sale?
No, the private sale was small enough to not have vesting. And every single person that has bought private sale, I know them personally. They are not the dumping type, and even if they want to dump, it will have such a small effect that it will be negligible.
Okay, I got it. And a small thing about staking. Is it flexible or locked?
The staking will be APY, so it is not flexible. It's a fixed APY that we can control as we deposit tokens. So I hope that answers the question. If I didn't understand you, maybe I didn't understand you correctly.
No, you understand me correctly. It's okay. I got it.
Perfect. And then, of course, there will not be a long staking period. Likely, you will have to stake for 48 hours to not have a penalty for unstaking. But after that, you can stake and unstake as you please. We will never hold people hostage with staking, taxes, anything like that. That's not our business.
Yeah. This impressed me a lot. And 48 hours, it will be great. Okay, for more questions, I will going to join your group. Thanks, Caleb, for giving me the opportunity, and thanks for giving the answer. Have a great day, guys.
Questions, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for that. Let's also get a question. Let's see. Hazel, you're muted. Hazel? Okay, I guess we have to move on.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah, we can hear you. Ask your question.
Okay. Thanks a lot giving me a chance. So my question is, I listen each and everything you described very well, but one thing is in my mind, that is several projects are currently using multiple strategies to maximize the number of holders. What are the benefits for those holding your tokens? Thank you.
So basically, the biggest benefit will be the staking rewards, which will be distributing revenues earned by the project through its capital investments in other projects and teams, and redistributing those to its holders. So it essentially becomes a passive income for you as the investor. I hope that answers the question.
Hazel, does that answer your question?
Thank you.
All right, thanks for that, Hazel. We have to move on now. Let's get a question from, let's see, Mary Jane. Mary Jane, you're muted.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Ask your question.
Okay, thanks for giving me the opportunity. My question is, a lot of new investors, because I went to your website and I saw people have plans of listing your token on the Pancake Swap. And a lot of new investors always faces issues on Pancake Swap, like setting the slippage too high or too low, and it makes them get frustrated. So how would your swap solve this issue for new investors to get the slippage at each rate itself? Please, I would
Look,
like
the best advice I can give you there is, personally, I often don't use Pancake Swap myself. I use PooCoin, and especially if I'm buying on a launch, I set my slippage very high to 50, 60, 70%, and that works like an absolute charm. Apart from that, when we're looking at listing on a decentralized exchange, PancakeSwap is really the best or the biggest one. But we will be looking at additional decentralized exchanges in future. But my best advice to you, buying on launches with high slippage, is absolutely PooCoin. The auto slippage works perfectly, as well as if you set the slippage quite high, you pay a little bit more gas, but it works like a charm. But again, if you make sure you get a whitelist spot, you can buy pre-sale and you've got absolutely no problem.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. Thanks, Caleb.
Thanks for that, Mary Jane. Up next, let's get a question from Ice Twitter. I think I saw Ice Twitter here. I think we lost him. Okay, there you are. Ice Twitter, you're muted.
Thank you for the opportunity, Caleb.
Yeah, ask the question, buddy.
The question is, what plans do you have towards people in not English-speaking countries like China, South Korea, to know more about this project? They cannot read through your website. Do you have an educational system, a community that teaches them about the project?
Sorry, man, your line is really bad there. I can barely hear what you're saying. Do you mind just repeating the question?
I said, do you have any plans towards people in not English-speaking countries like China and South Korea to know more about it?
Yes, I think we briefly did discuss this earlier when somebody asked the question about translators and stuff. And without a doubt, as soon as we are able to, we will expand to other communities in other languages. But obviously, for that to be a reality, we will have to have team members speaking those languages. But yes, it is definitely something that we would want to do in future.
Answer a question, buddy. Okay, I think we lost him. So we're gonna get in a few more questions, then we can wrap this up because I know you have another EMA in a few minutes. So
can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, hey girls, good evening.
Hey man.
Yeah, what's up? I just want to know, because this is like a recent trend for most projects now. There's a recent trend they normally do. I saw that you have a 7% buy and sell tax.
Yes.
Is that going to change anytime soon? Maybe.
Yes. So it will certainly change, but not upwards. It will change downwards. As soon as the project finds itself in a comfortable position to be able to make its venture capital investments, that tax will start reducing. And I think I said earlier that I would very much love to see Python being at maybe a 1% tax or a 0% tax, maybe just a 1% tax for liquidity, for example. So yes, it is something that will change in future, but I can promise you this will never change upwards. It will always be downwards. If we ever had to run a promotion for a 0% buy tax, the sell tax will still remain 7%. It will not go up to 14, for example, which is one of the oldest tricks in the books that people play. 0% buy tax, 14% sell tax. So they still get, the same amount of tax. We will not be doing that. We will at all times only be charging 7 in, 7 out, and we will as soon as possible reduce that.
Okay, I just hope that's exactly how you're saying, because there's this project I bought in. The sell tax was about 6%. Now it's at 25%. So you say it's crazy. So it's a recent trend. Almost all projects are doing that. They raise the sell tax once you see people dumping on the project or selling off what they can, their quick buy or whatever thing they want to sell off. So if you're saying that the buy tax will reduce and the sell tax will remain 7%.
No, it will always be, and we will reduce it as quickly as possible. And you can go and ask anybody in the seismic community, when I give you my word on something, my word is worth gold. So I give you my word, we will never have higher taxes than 7%, and we will reduce them as quickly as possible.
All right, no problem. So we'll just have to look out for what happens in the future. All right.
No, for sure, man, for sure.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for the question. I appreciate it.
Thanks for that. Next, let's get a last question here. Let's get a question from Selenity. Selenity, you're muted.
Hello. My question is about your long-term marketing plans. How or what big partnership do you plan to use to get your product out there to regular people, especially people who don't use cryptocurrency?
You asked me probably the one question I didn't want to answer tonight, but I will answer it anyway. So essentially, like I said, at launch and pre-sale or post pre-sale and launch, we will have all the marketing that you could possibly expect. But I think your question is really not about that. Your question is, in a week, in 2 weeks, in a month, 2 months, 3 months from now, where does Python advertise itself? And the right answer, which is the question that I didn't want to answer tonight, is that I've personally got big plans for Python in the future to integrate it into something much bigger, where the person or the man on the street can come to Python if he wants to invest in cryptocurrency and have a variety of investment options available at different risk portfolios. The same as going to any investment bank. But ultimately, I can tell you this, long term, I don't want Python to just exist in crypto. I want it to exist in both worlds, the real world and the crypto world, as a venture capitalist where investors can come and safely invest and follow what Python is doing. So without giving away too much of my future plans for Python, I hope that can answer your question and give you some insight of what I've got planned.
Thank you.
No problem, and thank you for the question.
All right. I think that's how much we can go so far for the question. So yeah, I think do you have any final word you may want to say to the community here?
Yeah, I think really what I just want to say, Caleb, is first and foremost, thank you for yourself and Greek being phenomenal hosts. You guys are amazing. Thank you for the chats that you and I could have had. I really look forward to building strong partnerships with yourself, your community, and other Python investors in future. And yeah, man, you'll let me know the winners and stuff from the giveaways that we'll be doing and all of that. And yes, I hope that all of you guys will join the Python community, will come and support the pre-sale, which is starting in approximately about an hour and 45 minutes. And that, yes, guys, let's go. Remember, we have not overpopulated the whitelist spots for Python. In fact, I strategically did it that way, that we're giving away whitelist spots and stuff, but that there's no way for the whitelist guys to fill the whole pre-sale. So be there. They've got a couple of minutes to buy. After that, it opens up to everybody, and please support. Come along, have a chat to us in the main TG. We're always there. If you got anything else, feel free to DM me. Guys, it's been phenomenal to be with you this evening.
Awesome. All right. Thank you so much as well for coming around, Ged. It was really awesome having you around. And I want to say that I wish you success on your journey. And yeah, seeing you in the moon.
Yeah, man, we're going to take a snake to the moon. And guys, hold your breath, because I'll be back soon for another AMA here, which is my full-time job, which is Seismic Crypto Bank. I will certainly, over the next week or so, be talking to Caleb. I would love to come and introduce Seismic to you guys, and I hope that Caleb will allow me that opportunity in future.
Why not? I mean, everyone is always welcome to GoDigger, as long as you're gonna benefit our community, and they're gonna actually benefit from you as well. Everyone here is actually welcome to GoDigger. So I mean, we're gonna be expecting you as well in the future.
Great stuff, man. I look forward to it.
Awesome. So I'm gonna be sending you the private chat record for the AMA in the private DM later on. But yeah, it was really great having you, and yeah, we should learn about the project as well.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate it.
Awesome.
All right, we'll chat in a bit.
Okay, brother. So,
Ciao,
guys,
bye. And Caleb, please, if you don't mind, just send me the recording of the AMA so I can post that in the Python announcement channel as well.
Sure, why not? I'm gonna do that as well. All right.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Awesome. So I'm gonna be stopping the recording right now. Let's see.
And Caleb, if you don't mind, if you guys will just excuse me, I've got to have a bathroom break and then run to the next AMA.
Sure, why not? You're free to do that.
Thanks.
You're free to do it. Yeah.